Carbon cycle. The carbon cycle refers to the natural process by which carbon moves between various reservoirs on Earth, including the atmosphere, oceans, land, and living organisms. Carbon is an essential element for life and is present in both organic and inorganic forms. The carbon cycle can be divided into two main components: the geological carbon cycle and the biological carbon cycle. Geological carbon cycle. The geological carbon cycle operates over long timescales and involves the movement of carbon between the atmosphere, land, and the Earth's interior, rocks and minerals. This process is primarily driven by geological processes such as weathering, erosion, volcanic activity, and the formation of sedimentary rocks. Carbon in the atmosphere. The atmosphere contains carbon dioxide, CO2, and other trace gases. Carbon dioxide is released into the atmosphere through natural processes like volcanic eruptions and the respiration of living organisms. Carbon in the oceans. The oceans act as a significant carbon sink. Carbon dioxide from the atmosphere dissolves in seawater, forming carbonic acid. This process is known as oceanic absorption. Marine organisms, such as phytoplankton, also absorb carbon dioxide through photosynthesis. Over time, some of the carbon is transported to the deep ocean through sinking of organic matter and the formation of calcium carbonate shells. Carbon in rocks. When plants and animals die, their remains can become buried and eventually transformed into fossil fuels like coal, oil, and natural gas over millions of years. These fossil fuels store carbon from ancient organic matter. Through geological processes such as uplift, erosion, and weathering, carbon can be released from rocks back into the atmosphere. Biological carbon cycle. The biological carbon cycle operates on shorter timescales and involves the exchange of carbon among living organisms, the atmosphere, and the oceans. This cycle is driven by photosynthesis, respiration, and decomposition. Photosynthesis. Plants, algae, and some bacteria use photosynthesis to convert carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, along with sunlight and water, into organic compounds like glucose. This process releases oxygen as a byproduct and serves as a vital carbon sink. Respiration. Living organisms, including plants, animals, and microbes, undergo respiration, a process that releases carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. Respiration breaks down organic compounds to produce energy for cellular processes. Decomposition. When plants and animals die, decomposers such as bacteria and fungi break down their organic matter. During decomposition, carbon is released as carbon dioxide or methane, contributing to the atmospheric carbon pool. Consumption and transfer. Animals obtain carbon by consuming plants or other animals. Carbon moves through the food chain as organisms are eaten and recycled. Human activities, particularly the burning of fossil fuels, deforestation, and land use changes, have significantly influenced the carbon cycle. The excessive release of carbon dioxide from these activities has disrupted the natural balance, leading to an increase in atmospheric CO2 concentrations and contributing to climate change. Understanding the carbon cycle is crucial for assessing and managing the impacts of human activities on the Earth's climate system and developing strategies to mitigate climate change. Nitrogen cycle. The nitrogen cycle is a natural process that describes the movement and transformation of nitrogen in the environment. Nitrogen is an essential element for the growth and development of living organisms, including plants, animals, and microorganisms. The nitrogen cycle consists of several interconnected processes that convert nitrogen from one form to another, making it available for different organisms. Nitrogen fixation. The cycle begins with nitrogen fixation, where atmospheric nitrogen, N2, is converted into a usable form by nitrogen-fixing bacteria or lightning. These bacteria live in the soil or root nodules of certain plants and have the ability to convert atmospheric nitrogen into ammonia, NH3, or nitrate, NO3, ions. Nitrification. In this process, ammonia, NH3, produced through nitrogen fixation of the decomposition of organic matter is converted into nitrite, NO2, and then into nitrate, NO3, by nitrifying bacteria. Nitrite and nitrate are forms of nitrogen that can be readily absorbed by plants. Assimilation. Plants take up nitrate, NO3, from the soil through their roots and incorporate it into their tissues to build proteins, nucleic acids, and other nitrogen-containing compounds. Animals obtain nitrogen by consuming plants or other animals. Ammonification: when plants and animals die or produce waste, nitrogen-rich organic matter is broken down by decomposers like bacteria and fungi. This decomposition process releases ammonia, NH3, back into the soil. Denitrification: under anaerobic, oxygen-limited conditions, denitrifying bacteria convert nitrate, NO3, back into atmospheric nitrogen, N2, completing the cycle. This occurs in oxygen-deprived environments like wetlands, sediments, or waterlogged soils. Human activities can significantly impact the nitrogen cycle. The excessive use of synthetic fertilizers in agriculture can lead to nitrogen runoff into rivers and lakes, causing eutrophication and harmful algal blooms. Industrial processes and the combustion of fossil fuels also release nitrogen oxides, NOx, into the atmosphere, contributing to air pollution and the formation of acid rain. Understanding the nitrogen cycle is crucial for managing ecosystems, agricultural practices, and mitigating environmental impacts. By maintaining a balance in nitrogen availability, we can support sustainable agriculture, reduce pollution, and preserve the health of terrestrial and aquatic ecosystems.